Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? It's Thursday, babies. What's going on? It's your chief visionary, Natasha Davis, right here. It is time for the Real Biz Life. We're going to go into business lab today. Happy Thursday. How are you? How's everything shaping up for you? I hope you have had a fabulous week and you have been productive. You have been progressive and you are being successful without apology. Absolutely. Well, listen, I hope that you are ready for today's episode of The Real Biz Life, a day in the life of business, babies. We are going to talk about a very amazing topic that I particularly love, and I know that this is going to be valuable to a lot of people. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to tell somebody to come hang out with us. Don't be stingy, right? You know, we are here to unpack a lot of valuable information to lift the lid off your thinking. And this is a live show where we are dissecting the good, the bad, and the strategy in business and all things around business, right? We are making sure that not only do we explore the possibilities, but I get the opportunity to lift your lid on your thinking so that you can examine the possibilities. You can look at what can happen. And as I shared with you in this particular time, this year, we're going to focus on economies of scale. We are going to focus on how do we achieve economies of scale, especially in this economy and in this particular climate, right? And so if you drop me a message in the chat, I'll chat back to you. DJ Ezzy B, good morning. How are you? Thank you for hanging out with me. I know you're ready. I see it. You're ready. I'm ready too. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. So listen, remember, I don't want you to be stingy. You can go text. You can call, you can mention, go and tell somebody to come join the party so they're not tardy. Don't let them miss these golden nuggets today. This is going to be some good stuff. And always remember that if you're looking for branding and marketing tips to kind of help you along the way, let it hit your inbox, go to the link you see on screen, getmarketingandbrandingtips.com, and you'll get some really cool information to help you kind of unpack your thinking and think about those things, right? All right, so we need to get ready to think big. We need to build momentum and we need to scale fast this year. And the way that we're going to do that is we are going to squarely focus on, like I said, what? Economies of scale. How are we achieving growth in the company without spending so much more, right? We're not going to keep pouring more in, but we need to get more out, right? All that sweat equity that we have been pouring in, we need to start getting return on investment. Do we not? Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys, let's go inside the business lab. I hope you have your pen. I hope you got your notes section open. I want you to take some information so you understand what we're doing. So today we're going to talk about some key principles around, specifically around when you're looking to expand the capabilities of your company, expand the capabilities of your reach and just your abilities to service clients. What am I talking about? I'm going to be talking to you today about hiring strategically, not emotionally. You need to really be ready to make some strategic hires this year. This is not the year or onward to do any more emotional hires, or for even considering that you don't want to not hire because of emotion, right? And so let's start putting a strategic lens on it. That's right. Your chief visionary again is still talking about strategy. I live and breathe strategy, baby. We do everything through strategy. So we're going to hire strategically. All right. All right. So let's talk about it a little bit. So the first thing is, what I want you to embrace or to recognize is oftentimes companies, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, when they're ready to start moving the needle, they tend to have this really bad habit of hiring purely off of emotion. The interview felt good, or they showed up on time, they looked good, they smelled good, they smiled, they had a good disposition. Anyone who shows up to an interview with a poor disposition, they just don't care. Okay, so most people are going to show up in an interview with a great disposition. They're going to be happy, they're smiling, they're going to be yes and friendly and extra friendly and do all of that. I want you to put your blinders on, and I now want you to make sure that you're building your team. I want you to now start to embrace what's called a R.O.C.K principle. I want you to build your team using a R.O.C principle. This is a principle that I developed and came up with when I realized that my clients were making too many mistakes with hiring. Now, time out, stop the presses. I don't want none of you HR people coming for me, okay? I am not an HR expert. I am not an HR strategist. I am a strategic planner. I'm a business strategist. So I do things from a strategic lens. So this is not an HR specific episode. I am just talking about taking the elements of your strategy to grow and shining a lens on it and putting a lens on it when you're talking about building a team. So I am not an HR person. I'm not a staffing agency. I'm none of that stuff. We don't do HR development. So I don't want any HR people coming for me. But if you are an HR professional and you'd like to add value on top of what I'm saying, feel free to put your comments and your input in the chat room. Share your wisdom and your knowledge with respect around what I'm saying. Okay. But I also preface it again, I am not an HR person. I am a strategic planner. We do risk management, contingency management, change management. That's what we do. Okay. So let's get back into it. So when we look at the principle of R.O.C, we are building a team on a R.O.C principle. And this is a principle, like I said, I developed because I realized my clients were constantly hiring off of this emotion. And I said, well, listen, we need to cut this out. We need to go into a strategic hiring lens and start screening candidates from this principle, right? So the R.O.C principle basically advocates the following. It advocates that the team as a whole, the team as an individual, the team as a unit is what? A resource. The team is also, and the team brings, and the individual brings an opportunity. The team and the individual coming to the team brings connection, right? And as well as, don't miss this, the team and the individual coming to the team is knowledge, not has knowledge, is knowledge. Okay. And let me unpack that for you. The mere fact that you have knowledge on something doesn't mean that you are a body of knowledge, that you are this thing. Like, I want you to be branding. I want you to be marketing. I want you to be accounting. I want you to be the knowledge. I don't want you only to have knowledge, because case in point. So for me, I have knowledge around baking, but I promise you, you do not want me to bake you a cake. You don't. You do not want me to bake you a cake. It's not going to go well. I tell you that. I have knowledge of it. I have knowledge of it. You do this, you do some of that, you throw some of this, you mix that up, you put it in the oven, you do some of this, you put the knife in, you pull it out, it's wet, dry, whatever. I have knowledge of baking a cake, but I am not a body of knowledge. I am not the knowledge of baking cakes. So be careful. And I don't want you to miss this. You want someone who is knowledge, not the one that has knowledge. You can put a bunch of stuff on a resume that says you have experience in this and knowledge in that and whatever. But when you begin to test that knowledge, okay, that's where you realize you are not the knowledge base that I was expecting or that you proclaimed to be, right? So be careful with that. So you want them to be a resource, opportunity, connection, and knowledge, that they are knowledge. So be careful with that. All right. I want you to look at each candidate. So first thing we have to look at is examine each candidate based on their ability to support your R.O.C principle that you would implement in your company. Not only focused on the resume, not only focused on the big company they worked with or where they worked or how long they worked or all that stuff. I want you to focus, put those blinders on, and really get laser focused on these things, right? Because oftentimes, again, business owners are coming in and they're hiring with this super emotional lens and, oh my God, they're so great. And I'm like, I don't care about all that. I need a strategic perspective. You hire from a strategic perspective, right? What do we need? When do we need it? Who do we need to get us there, right? And so you want to be careful. I remember I had a client that was hiring a business developer, right? So they were hiring a business developer to do marketing and all this stuff. Well, this person claimed that they had all these connections and contacts or whatever. However, my client never tested this theory. They never tested trust but verify, right? Trust but verify. So they never tested to see You said you have all this and you're going to bring all this and that and who and what to the table, but it was never tested. We never were able to fact check it, to qualify it, let alone quantify it. And so therefore, 6, 7 months in, a year in, this person only had knowledge. They were not the knowledge base of this particular thing. Do you see where I'm going with this? Are you catching these golden nuggets? Please hashtag golden nuggets in the chat room. Are you catching these golden nuggets? I'm gonna need this to change your entire outlook and your approach to hiring. Even considering to bring on a team member, this will help to alleviate a lot of frustration, a lot of aggravation. I promise you, it absolutely works. It works. It works. Okay. So one of the things that happens in the small business, medium-sized business, and it also happens in large companies, except in large companies, those that slip through the cracks, they get to stay on board a little bit longer because the company and the operations are so large. By the time they figure out that this person is not qualified or capable, they've probably been there about a year or two or even more, unless this person is just ridiculously egregious and they're just so incompetent that you can't hide it, or it can't be overlooked, right? However, in a smaller, medium-sized enterprise, it's easier to see if you are paying attention to it. If you're not paying attention to it, if you're not building it from a strategic lens, if you don't have a principle, then therefore you're going to miss it. And this creates a lot of financial burden for the company. It also is an issue because turnover is expensive on any size company. Turnover is super expensive. And I remember a couple studies actually came out. They did the study in 2020, and so the studies were released in 21 and 22. And I'll tell you that they found that the average employee turnover was about 14 to 18%. Ouch, that is ridiculously high, right? The goal is to keep your turnover under 10%, under 10%, right? And so with that being said, you are looking at the turnover goal for your company. Now you can look at it quarterly, you can look at it monthly, you can look at it annually, but here are the three core things that you're going to look at when you are assessing turnover. Why am I even talking about turnover? Turnover is important at this point because when you are looking to strategically hire, normally when I start with a client, I want to know all their business, how many teams you have, how long have they been here, who, what, when, all that good stuff, because I'm calculating what has been the turnover in a certain period of time. It's important because it's helping me to fix what's wrong, right? Turnover is painful. It is so, so expensive, right? All right, Glenn. Yeah, if you always come back, you can always hear the recording. So can I get a recording of this talk? Absolutely. It is being recorded live. And so we're live and it is being recorded. So thanks for joining. But once it's done, it will be readily available right here on your same social platform. It's also available in YouTube as well, on Impact Branding videos on YouTube. Thanks for asking and thanks for being here. All right. Okay, so as I was saying, so we're going to talk about turnover. And again, the key importance in turnover is understanding why I care about turnover as it relates to a strategic hire. The three things we look at is what's the number of employees at the start of this particular monitoring period. If you're going to monitor it quarterly, larger companies, honestly, you monitor it monthly, quarterly. When you're a medium to small business, you're looking at quarterly, maybe biannually, like every half a year or every year. Doing a monthly, if you are a small business and you are having a monthly turnover, that is a huge problem. You need to go ahead and call your chief visionary and let's get started, because I can tell you right now, if you are a small to medium business and your monthly turnover of employees is exceeding 5 to 7% and 10% of a turnover, that's a problem, huge problem that is costing the company a lot of money. Okay. All right. So the first thing, like I said, the three key things we look at is how many employees do you have at the start of this beginning period? How many employees do you have and team members, whether they're 1099s or W-2s, right? How many team members do you have at the end of this particular monitoring period? And then what's the total number of team members that have left? Whether they had to be terminated or they resigned within this monitoring period. Okay, so let's give you an example when we talk about the turnover, because When we are aware of how this turnover situation is affecting the company, you will see how to improve your hiring strategy. Okay. So let's say, for example, we're going to look at a small business, and you're going to say, okay, listen, we're going to look at our annual turnover. Let's say we have about 12 people that started at the turnover time, but then we ended with 15 people at the turnover time. Okay. And let's say within this annual period we're monitoring, let's say 7 people have left, whether they resigned or they were terminated. We had 7 people that left. So when we factor in these three variables, these 3 elements that we are looking at, the number that started, the number that ended, and the amount that left, and you put that formula together, this particular turnover in a year, you're looking at about 51% turnover. Really high. Really, really high. Remember, what was our goal? 10% or less. We want to stay 10% or less. So something like that, that's a huge problem. And when you see a large turnover like that, I promise you, when I go to the finances of the company, they're feeling it. It is boom. It is hitting the financials of the company very, very hard. Don't ever think that having a high turnover does not financially affect the company. It does, because it takes anywhere from about 2 to 3 months for any one hire to ramp up enough to make the company back money. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put it on the table. We cannot constantly hire people only because they worked at a big company, or only because they say they've had 10 or 15 years experience, or only because they had the title there and this is the title I'm trying to fill, so I'm going to bring them here. I don't want you hiring people based on title. I want you to hire them based on their ability to support the advancement and the growth goals of your company, their ability to get results. So I personally do not believe in overemphasis on title and tenure somewhere. I'm more hyper focused on the results that you got while you were there. What results did you get while you were there? I need to know, can you duplicate those results or maximize the results that we need here? This now helps you to develop the right job description. So now when you know, here's what the company needs, here's the needs that we want. Strategic plan. Yes, she's talking about it again. The strategic plan. Yes, I am. Okay. So now you know, here's where the company's going. Here's what the company needs. When you know these 2 things, now you know who to hire, what type of person you need, when you want to hire them, how many of these people you need. It is not about only title. I have had clients where we have created a title just for title's sake, but we always build the job description first with metrics and expectations. We build the job description first, and then we assess a title to it. I'm telling you, game changer. It's a big difference. Okay. Strategically hiring. So as I said, I really don't care about how long you've worked at and what's the name big company and all that stuff. And the name dropping does not convince me that you're qualified for any particular role. It doesn't. So I care more about, while you were there, what did you do? How long did you do it? Here's something I'll also share with small and medium-sized companies. Don't be ultra nervous if you see that someone, maybe they was interning or they were externing, because let me tell you something, an intern or an extern tends to work a lot harder than a direct hire. I can tell you, I've seen it. So don't turn your nose up on onboarding someone that's relatively new or in the field, but they have done 2 or 3 years of internship, 2 or 3 years of an externship, 6 or 8 consecutive months of an externship or internship. Don't be, oh, I don't want that. Yes, you may very well want it. Here's another reason. Okay. Here's the great misconception. If I hire someone with 10 years experience, I don't need to train them. Get that out of your head. That is a lie. That's a myth. That is a setup for disaster. You will have to train every single person that comes through your company, because the way you run your business, the way you run your operations is not identical to how the other company that they work with. So get that out of your head, that because someone came with 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, I don't have to train them. Or you don't want to train, so you only hire people with 10 plus years experience. Big misconception. Don't do it. That's not going to help you. You hire people based on the R.O.C principle that I shared with you, and I'm going to give you another lens. This is how you evaluate who stays, who goes, who even gets hired. Are y'all ready? Are you ready? There's 5 reasons to hire someone. Okay. There's 5 reasons to hire someone. There's 5 reasons to retain someone. Don't just hang on to them because they're your cousin, or hang on to them because you're in-law. Hang on to them because they're your spouse. Just saying, I'm not trying to start any trouble in anybody's house. I'm just telling it. I'm just putting strategy on the table. Okay. Don't come for me. Talking about chief visionary, my wife fired me because of you, or my husband fired me because of you. You know what my next question is going to be? So clearly you weren't doing your job. You were not achieving any of the 5 reasons that you were hired. You did not contribute to the R.O.C principle. That's why you got fired. Now go home and cook dinner. Stop it, Natasha. Stop it. Get it together. All right, let's get back to it. Stop the shenanigans. We got to get to work. All right, here we go. So in my book, Be Unleashed, which you can get a copy of my book at natashadavisvisionary.com. Go over there. You can get a copy of any one of my books. But in the book, Be Unleashed, I've specifically transferred knowledge on these 5 reasons in which you should even hire someone. Why should you even hire them? Why should you retain them? And when it's time to let them go. So this is how you strategically hire. The key thing is, 1, do they lighten a load? Do they lighten a load? If they do not lighten the load, no, hands down, let it go. Do they strengthen the company? Do they have the ability to strengthen the company? And if they're there, are they strengthening the company? Okay. Do they have the ability to solve a problem? Are they proactive? Do you solve a problem? See it, solve it. Don't see it, complain about it, tell me about it, and then sit there and wait for me to figure it out. See it, solve it, or better yet, anticipate it and get ahead of it. Solve a problem, right? Here's the next one. Make the company money. Remember, you are paying someone. You are paying someone. So therefore, because the company is now expensing money, anytime you expense money, hiring someone is an investment. If I make an investment, I want a return on my investment. That includes hiring someone. So do you make the company money? Are you balancing the load of your own salary? Do you justify your salary? It can't be that you come in asking me for 50, 60, 100,000, but you cannot justify and qualify. How is it that you're going to make the company money? Now, this is going beyond the scope of today's episode, right? But when I hire someone, I need to see that you're going to, on a minimum, 2 to 3x your salary, your annual salary. Show me how you bring this company money. Show me how you save the company money. Do you make the company money? And then the 5th reason that you hire, again, to autonomously manage accounts and projects. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I have to hold your hand and babysit you along the way all day, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in, this is not going to work, because you're not solving any problems on your own. You're not lightening my load. You're actually taking time away from me. And I guarantee you, you are not making this company money. So when you think of someone that is autonomously managing accounts and projects, you want to make sure that this is a really top priority. Because why did you hire them? You need the help. You needed the extra help. You needed the skill set. You needed the manpower. You needed the help. The second lens, the second priority you're going to look at is their ability to solve a problem. Their ability to solve a problem. If they cannot autonomously manage accounts and projects, if they cannot solve a problem, then that means they cannot, obviously, they can't strengthen the company. They don't make the company money, and they're not lightening your load. Boom, point blank, period, and it's done. That is how you're going to strategically hire. If you don't have a strategic plan, this is the time to get one. This is the time to get one. Don't keep shooting from the hip. Don't say it's all up here. I got it right here. I know exactly what I'm doing. Get it out of your head. Get it down on a plan so everybody knows, including you, where you're going, How are you going to get there? When are you going to get there? And who are you going to get there with? Okay. That's how you do it, baby. It's done. Strategically hiring. You have your 5 main reasons to hire and how to build your team based on a R.O.C principle. Yes. All right. So I want you to focus on that. Focus on how we're advancing the company. How are we growing the company? We are achieving economies of scale all year long. I want you to grab each principle. Every episode, I am dissecting bits and pieces, and I'm giving you so much value and so many golden nuggets. All right. If you need your chief visionary for strategy, for training or speaking, please don't hesitate to go ahead and schedule a power chat so that we can talk about what is it that you need. The link is on the screen. Go to impactbrandingconsulting.org and you can schedule a power chat to connect with your chief visionary. And let's talk about what it is that you are needing and what you're trying to accomplish. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Impact Branding Videos. Impact Branding Videos on YouTube is what we're looking at. Okay. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please don't forget, next week, I'm going to be here. So you should be here and you should bring somebody with you. Bring somebody with you. Let them come hang out with us. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday right here inside the Business Lab. Unless I tell you I'm not going to be here, I'm going to be here. All right. So blessings upon blessings to you. Have an amazing week. Take these golden nuggets and I want you to run with it. I want you to make it happen. And if you are catching this on the replay team, I encourage you to put hashtag replay team inside the chat room and I'll show you some love as well. Right. So one love, one heart, blessings upon blessings. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Y'all go and be productive. Bye.